Okay, so today's presentation is on preserving your family photographs, because we all have photographs and we all have questions about not only how to identify them but how to preserve them. And that's what I aim to do with this presentation, is give you some basic information on what you can do with those family pictures that you've inherited or are about to inherit. And I even talk about specific types of images and how to care for them. And I start out with an introduction on the types of damage that occur and why that occurs and what you can do about it. And some very simple things. You don't have to turn your house into an archive, although it is an archive, but you don't have to turn it into a museum. Survey the collection. So when you are given a box of photographs, and I have to say that I just asked my mom for all of her family photographs and she gave them to me. And they're in a series of cigar boxes, and the funny thing about that is I don't know why they're in cigar boxes, because no one in my family ever smoked a cigar. But that seemed to be a good sturdy place for her to keep them. And the first thing you need to keep in mind when you look at those boxes, and I know the urge is there to just rip through them, pull out all the photographs, lay them all out, and see what you've got, is to think about retaining the original order, because you don't know exactly who owned those photographs before you did, or before your mother did, or before your father did, or before your grandparents did. And so you need to sort of create that chain of ownership, or try to figure out what it is, because that will help you identify the images later on. Now today we're talking about preserving, but provenance, the history of ownership, is very important for preservation as well. And in this box you can see that we have newspapers and framed photographs, and what else do we have? Oh, we have publications, and we have negatives, and there's all kinds of things in this box. So what you want to do is photograph or document in some way all of that material. So here's my slide called Condition Status, and when you're looking through the boxes, keep in mind the various things. Now you've documented who owned it before you. You've documented what came in that particular box, whether you photograph them or take notes or whatever, because it will be important, because each box might have come from a different branch of your family. And then when you're looking through those images, you want to wear gloves, either cotton gloves or non-latex gloves that you buy at any pharmacy or Walmart or Costco. Any type of pharmacy has these examination gloves that are non-latex. And they give you a good grip, and they prevent you from transferring dirt from one box of photographs to another. So as you're looking through the boxes, keep in mind that you're thinking about, well, how many of these images are unidentified? Because you'll want to focus on that after you've done these preservation steps. And then think about what types of photographs you've been given. And then you definitely have to examine them for mold damage and other types of damage. They're torn or faded, because at some point in this process, and I'll lead you down the path here, you'll want to separate those damaged and moldy images from the rest of the collection so that you can handle them separately. So let's see if we can get that next. Perfect. So the four most basic preservation mistakes that most people make, and we don't always do these inadvertently, on purpose, is where you've taken a photograph out of the box and you've got those cotton gloves on and it slips out of your hand and falls to the floor and breaks into pieces. Happens to everybody. So what you want to do is, with the non-latex gloves, it gives you a better grip so you don't drop them. You might have a storage issue in your house. Where are you going to put these photographs? And I'm going to address that in this webinar. The one thing you should never, ever do to a photograph is laminate it. And this is a very common question that I receive, that people would like to laminate their photos and preserve them. But in fact, laminating your picture actually destroys them. It's poor quality plastic. There's heat involved, and there's glue. And when you seal that photograph,